Oh, hey, Dante, man, how's it going?
It is not bad, Rudy. It has been quite the year. It feels like 2020 has just kind of grown an extra limb and became 2021, and now we're in 2022, and it all kind of feels the same. But we're here, and it's time to kind of look back at that year, that extra limb, and think what bits could we hack off, and what bits were actually quite decent. Because today is the TBAG Awards, is it not?
It is, but I've got some bad news. You know that we've been scripting the last couple of weeks since the end of the year, going through our musings about what we're going to put in the end of the year awards, and go through different categories and whatnot. I've been doing the page count, and we're looking a little bit short for where we need to be in terms of the podcast, like the length of this episode.
We normally keep it, under an hour, and then we can, kind of nice digestible bit of story, and it's kind of what people expect from us now. And I think that's working well. We've put the right amount of effort in. I mean, how short are you thinking we are?
By my calculation, I'm just looking at it. We are approximately 20.5 days. Days under where we wanted to be for this episode.
Who wants to listen to a podcast for 20 and a half days?
Well, it turns out that we have to hit the magic mark of 500 hours because I don't know if you've seen on the news, but Dying Light 2 takes 500 hours to do everything. Yeah. Oh. And what that means is that bar's been set in terms of content. So if you want to engage people,
right,
an hour's not going to do it. An hour is it's not even a demo nowadays.
No, that's no. It really doesn't measure up, does it? We need to make sure we're hitting that engagement level. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so the only way to do that is to try and drag out every episode to 500 hours or 20.8333 days to record. And I think that's the only way we're going to really be able to compete in the marketplace. So what it means for this special awards special we're doing now is that we had about 10 or 15 categories, say.
Yeah,
we probably need, I don't know, sort of 300 or 400 categories.
I mean, can I not just yammer on about one game for, a day or so? And
it's probably going to have to be, to be honest, isn't it? Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Also, you probably need to stock up on food and water and stuff like that. Because it'll be a lot of editing, so I'd rather we just do it.
All right. Okay, let's do it. Let's riff off it. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm the hip-hop-opotamus. My lyrics are bottomless.
Oh, are we starting?
No, that's about as far as I got.
Okay, well, I tell you what. Let's just see how it goes, and I reckon we'll find our feet. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, let's get right into it. Let's go in for the Totally Brilliant Awesome Gaming Awards, also known as the TBAGs from Jambags. And yes, Jambaggers, welcome to the Totally Brilliant Awesome Gaming Awards, the TBAGs. We are here to tell you a bit about what we've been doing over the past year with this award ceremony. Now, it's not your average award ceremony. It's got some slightly different rules. It doesn't necessarily focus on things that have been released in the past year. It's more about the stuff that we've played in the past year. Isn't that right, Rudy?
Absolutely right, Dante. This is, actually, do you reckon we need some kind of fanfare music to...
Have you got any fanfare music? I mean, doesn't sound like a fart in a jam jar.
Give this a go.
Oh, that smells.
Yeah, well, that's like 4D, whatever they call it, 5D, 6D, I don't know. But so this is our gaming awards show where winning is the same as losing. Mm-hmm. So if you're on this list, if you're a game developer, you won. But ultimately, if we're talking about it, you probably lost.
Yeah, it doesn't get you any cool points, doesn't get you any prestige. If we're talking about it, basically, we each think the other person is completely wrong in their opinions.
Yeah,
and
that's the other thing to bear in mind is that whenever a game has won, it has also lost in our GM because we will not agree with each other in anything.
No, very, very highly unlikely.
Yeah. And what other rules we've got? There's no kind of particular order to this. It doesn't necessarily, sort of lead up to anything. It's not like the Oscars where you get the boring visual effects out of the way first before you get to the good ones, at the end. This is just going to be, just our categories, I think is probably the way to put it.
And it's going to be a fun, happy way for you to spend 500 hours of your life and not feel like you've wasted time in the slightest. Or is it the opposite of that? Might be
So I guess any other rules we should cover off on for this year's TBAGs?
Okay, so I've already mentioned that it's not necessarily games that came out this year. Mm-hmm. It's just our opinions, which are generally wrong, or your opinions, which are wrong and mine are right.
No, but
essentially it's just there to make you feel like you've wasted your time.
Well, I mean that is our podcast in a big nutty shell. And if you're allergic to nuts, well, you're gonna probably go into anaphylactic shock. I don't know, but let's get into it because we actually do have quite a stack of awards.
Good awards, good award categories that come up, even if all your answers are completely effing wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think we're just going to go straight into it, shall we?
Straight into the first totally brilliant, awesome gaming award. What is our first category, Rudy?
Best game that Rudy recently returned to after getting quite lost in it the first time.
Ooh, okay. So this is more of a Rudy-specific game.
This is very specific to me, but I need to set a bit of scene. Ready? Let me just turn the effects on. Ready?
Ooh, that's
a long spectre, a world made of bugs, a nail for a sword. In a dark, abandoned and mysterious subterranean world, you alone must explore a destroyed kingdom. Improve your combat abilities, explore an intricate map, and discover the horrifying secret of your connection to this labyrinthian nightmare.
I know this.
It is Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight.
Sorry.
That sounded like it hurt. Okay, so you're back on Hollow Knight. So
this is
how many playthroughs is it?
Just going to say that technically it's the start of the year, and I got into it for the first time, start of last year. And it's true to say that I actually did try and play it like back in 2018 when it first came out on the Switch. Mm-hmm. And I put a few hours into it and I thought it was really difficult. I didn't like it and it was all rubbish and it was terrible. But then I was playing around on a PlayStation and it was free and I installed it and I gave it a bit of a go and then I got absolutely hooked. And now it's possibly one of my favorite games ever. And I think that anyone that hasn't bought it and downloaded it and played it is a retard. I mean, sorry, that's offensive. Just a complete dickhead.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean,
have you played it?
I have not. I could play it anytime I like on Game Pass, but just to annoy you, I'm just not going to because
son of a. It's fine.
Looks like something I find in the bottom of my pants. To be honest,
dickhead. But anyway, that's my first category.
That's your first category. Okay.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I don't think that any game mentioned, particularly by you, will top that for quality. This is just impossible.
Okay, well, let's move on before we start a massive argument about that one. I mean, trying to think of games that I've gone back to after a long break, but possibly AC Valhalla. But again, that's just because it's such a large game that it takes a long time to get through. But it's not really a repeat going through. I think Half-Life 2, probably the game that I've returned to after kind of completing it once and wanting to go through it again.
Yeah, it's it's not as good as Hollow Knight, but yeah, fair enough.
Brimming with wrong ability. Okay, so my first category is the best game that turned out to be good that Dante thought was going to be complete shite.
Okay, that's interesting because normally it's the other way around.
Well, yeah, normally I think it's going to be good, and it actually turns out to be complete rubbish. There's plenty of that later on in the awards, but I thought I'd start on a fairly positive note.
Yes.
And the game that I'm putting in for this award is the Guardians of the Galaxy Square Enix game.
Wow, I have not played that, although I am interested in playing it. So this might be the closest we get to agreeing.
To actually agreeing on something, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw all the trailers for it and it just looked so generic. I mean, Star-Lord's hair looked just like the worst. The voice acting didn't seem all that great. But when I got into it, Okay, it's maybe not as open world as I'd like. It's a very linear story experience, but the combat's really good. The story's very good. You learn a lot more about the characters that you don't learn in the films, and I do quite like the films. But I think the game sort of build on those characters a bit more, even though they're maybe a slightly different version of the ones that you see in the film. It's nice to get some of their backstory, some of that depth that you don't always have time for in a 2-hour movie. It's a very enjoyable single player story based experience without any microtransactions or monetization generally.
Okay, but has it got the talking tree in it? It
does have the talking tree in it.
I'm in.
Hey, yeah, agreement. Awesome.
Yeah,
that's about as close as we're going to get.
But since you like it, it's shit.
Obviously.
So you went with Guardians of the Galaxy. Do I have any games that I thought was going to be rubbish, but actually really enjoyed? I do. I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I was not interested in this game at all. We saw it, an early demo at EGX we could have played many years ago. Couldn't be arsed with it. Got it really because it went free on PS Plus, and I thought I'll give it a try. And then I got really annoyed because you couldn't get the PS5 version if you had it on the PS Plus version, so I bought a second-hand copy to save you, Sony, and Square. And then I absolutely really loved it and played 40 hours into it, and even in the sale purchase a DLC for the sort of next story mission that's kind of like bridges the gap between that and the 14 million years away. So there you go. I thought that game was just going to be complete waffle. I never played Final Fantasy VII. Really liked it. Thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. One of my favourite games to play this year.
I played like 2 stages, got him about as far as he got to his like little house or something where you have a little base, and I just couldn't keep going through that awful dialogue, and I just didn't like the combat. So again, agreement as normal.
Yeah, you suck. Right, okay.
What's your next one?
Okay, my one, which is let's go my category voice, ready?
Most critically acclaimed game that Rudy gave up on almost immediately.
And that's going to be a toss-up for me between Forza Horizon 5 or Resident Evil Village. But it's probably worse that I gave up on Resident Evil Village because I did actually buy it. Whereas obviously Forza Horizon 5, I downloaded on whim because, Game Pass. Yeah, but I just suck at driving games, and I just didn't really understand why everyone was so excited and shouting at me all the time to do things. And I just kept reversing the car, like reversing time, because I kept cocking it up. And I thought, I'm going backwards most of the time in this game. It's not right. So...
I didn't give up on it almost immediately. I did probably play it for a couple of weeks before I gave up on it. But
mine was about 35 to 40 minutes. I was just like, there's an airplane flying over me. There's cars falling out the back of it. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Everyone's shouting at me. There's people acting like I should know who they are, but I've not played any of the previous games properly. I just drive around. Every car I choose seems to be the wrong one for this type of race. I didn't understand it. And I was out. Resident Evil Village was not a bad game. I do want to go back to it at some point, but for some reason I don't know. It just didn't grip me, and I kind of stopped. I do need to go back to it, but yeah.
I feel like it's this, very much related to that one. I gave Resident Evil 7 a try and bounced off it almost immediately as well. I think just because I had another game on the go at the time more than anything else, but again, it just didn't grab me in the way that a lot of people said it was going to.
Well, it didn't grab you by the residents or the evils.
Not by the evils, no.
Yeah, or the biohazards. Actually, no, biohazards is quite apt in your case. So
yeah, probably I wouldn't go near those things.
But okay, hit me up with another TBAG award and say that you've got.
Okay. The best game that we were always going to like, no matter how much the other one is completely indifferent or trashes it.
Ooh, okay. I know what you're going to choose, and I think you're probably going to guess what I'm going to choose. But go on, spit your disgusting answer out all over the floor.
I absolutely will, and there was no way I wasn't going to love this game, and it's going to get mentioned a few times today. It's the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Absolutely love those games. The depth of the story, the combat, the exploration. Each game's slightly different, got certain things right, certain things wrong in each one. Sometimes they made things better, they made things worse. But overall, I just can't think of a gaming experience that I liked as much this year, and you knew I was going to like it anyway.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you a story. Is that a couple of weeks ago, before I started playing Sonic House, I saw it was coming on Game, but when it came out on Game Pass, and I was like, you know what, I might download this and start giving the first Mass Effect a go. And I thought, I'm not going to do that because I'll never hear the end of it, and he'll ask me how the end is, and I'll never get to the end because it's a long game, and I probably, and it's quality aged quite a bit, and I've got no nostalgia for it, and it'll be blah, blah. So I just thought, you know what, I might download it and then just tell Dante that I have, but never play it, just to wind him up.
Yeah, no, I think I know where you're going with this. To be quite honest, I think I know what yours is going to be. No, that a game like that is too good for the likes of you anyway. So,
well, okay then. The game that I was always going to like, no matter how much of that, Metroid Dread.
Yeah, I thought so.
Obviously, they would have had to really cock that formula up for me not to like a 2D Metroid game, one that I could play on the Switch portably, and it was everything I wanted it to be. I enjoyed it an awful lot, and I know that you would absolutely hate it. So there you go.
I keep meaning to try on my SNES Mini the Super Metroid, but I'd rather play something modern with massive explosions and big boobies.
What do you mean? Just breathe through as we've talked about this. The therapist massive explosions, an entire planet and space station explodes, and you actually have to. I forget it.
Yeah, but it's in 2D.
Yeah, but forget it. It's just it's too cerebral for you. You go back to your Commander Chef Fem Shagbot, whatever it is you do with it. And I'll stick with my elegant Samus.
Eat ass.
So anyway, wow.
What's your next one?
Well, let's have a quick look at my next one on my list. Well, I'm going to go with
VR game that made Rudy want to vomit up his dinner the most.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's probably a very specialised category just to me, because I pride myself on having pretty good VR legs, I've only
Apart from that time at EGX.
Yeah, I've had two instances. I've had two instances of really, really bad motion sickness, which I don't get generally in life, so it's quite confusing. The first time was with you at EGX when I tried it. I think it was the Persistence. And I must say that I don't think I'd set myself up for it. And this one, I tried a game on the Oculus Quest called Warhammer 40k Battle Sister on the Oculus Quest 2. And it's a Warhammer game. You wield the big bolt guns and stuff like that. It's for a game that runs on the Quest. It was pretty fun, but I got a little bit I was standing up for it. The motion in the first level wasn't that bad, and I was just like, yeah, I can handle this. And I was using the teleportation and stuff in it. Oh my god, I played it for about 35 minutes, got past another level, and thought I was going to vomit everywhere. And I don't know what is different between this game. It wasn't like I was swinging around wildly. It was actually I just thought I was going to hoof it everywhere. And it put me off using my VR for about 2 or 3 weeks. I just literally was like, no, I can't touch VR again. The idea of it made me feel ill.
No.
Luckily, I got back onto it with some, games that did make me want to vomit everywhere. But boy, yeah, I'm not complaining about the game in case. Obviously, none of the devs are listening to this, but it was a good game and it was satisfying. I'm annoyed that I'm now too worried about getting sick to go back to it. And I don't know why that game affected me more than, I played Half-Life Alyx this year, and that did not make me want to be sick once. But I don't know why this game did. But hey, both first person sort of VR shooters.
I think. Yeah, I've kind of forgotten perhaps that Valve are actually competent game makers. They're not just the gatekeepers of Steam.
Anyway, Dante, what have you got?
Okay, so the next one, this kind of relates to both of us. There's a few nominees for this one as well, but the
best multiplayer game that we played on Wednesday nights.
So we need to give some context to listeners on this one, which is that we figured that since we do a gaming podcast togethers,
we should play some games
together.
We should play some
games. And it just so happens that our filthy assistant who assists us at EGX had also bought a PlayStation. Had also got a PS4 and wanted to pretend like we were his friends. So so we honoured him with our presence.
We placated him quite properly, didn't we?
But we're quite picky with our games. We're not like, I say we're picky. I'm quite picky with my games.
Well, it doesn't have to cost us much. That's kind of the main thing.
That's the first thing. It's got to be relatively cheap. 2, we prefer cooperative kind of work than just, competitive against each other or because
no
we suck.
PvP.
Yeah, we suck all that kind of stuff. So something we can all play with together. And ideally, the other thing is that it doesn't take too long to download the updates. World War Z.
God.
Because one of us has always forgotten to do it, and it takes ages. Filthy assistant as well, but anyway.
True.
Well, that one time it was me. But anyway. So we've got a few nominations. Yeah, go for it.
So we got Predator Hunting Grounds. Borderlands 2, which we spent a fair amount of time playing.
We did.
World War Z and Zombie Army 4. And I think there's no surprise for you particularly that my vote goes for Zombie Army 4 because I think that was a great game. And again, it also kind of fits into the category of game I wasn't expecting a great deal from and turned out to be really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I don't think I could disagree with you. This is as close as I'm going to come to agreeing with you. By the way, I don't think I could disagree with you on this game. I think it is probably the one that we collectively enjoyed the most playing through it. However, I'm going to say this: I feel that Borderlands 2 was a better value proposition if we understood how to play a Borderlands game.
Yeah, no, there's a few people I've spoken to about it that said, no, you're playing it wrong. You're not, grinding and leveling up your builds enough and all that kind of stuff.
Which I think we just kind of tended to run into situations, be hopelessly outgunned most of the time, die repeatedly until we literally ground down the enemies, then moved on. I refuse to believe that our experience, we played through the whole campaign. I also think that playing the campaign when we didn't know it, when there's 3 of us talking, meant that we didn't really get into it. What was going on, we just ignored it. And I think, to be honest, for a game that works so seamlessly with really good co-op and a full campaign that was 30 hours long in full co-op is a pretty cool thing.
I think if I had a very similar game to Borderlands 2 without so much of the, let's diplomatically call it, the hit and miss humor that you get in the Borderlands game, and it had a similar kind of structure, similar kind of co-op layout with kind of quests and that sort of thing. Maybe not quite as much emphasis on loot and picking up like a million billion guns. I just kind of want one gun that's really good that I can keep upgrading. But apart from that, I think there was a lot of good things to be said about it that I maybe didn't say at the time.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think, but conversely, the other thing about Zombie Army 4 is that the game was good. It wasn't particularly long, but that was fine. But the DLC is just so over the top. There's about 14 different season passes.
Yeah, that could certainly go into, if we had an award for worst monetization.
Yeah, it's so heavily monetized, and I don't mind buying season passes for stuff, but I think there's 2 or 3 season passes, each with some story mission, each with a bunch of cosmetics and stuff like that. And I can't. Yeah. And it's expensive stuff, and I don't think either we got it on a subscription package or we bought it cheap. I can't remember which, but
yeah. Well, I liked it enough to play it on Game Pass on the Xbox with the graphics are a bit better there. But,
I'm tempted to give it a go again. I'll just do the solo playthrough, but at the same time, I also probably won't. So should we move on to the next category?
Next category, what you got for us, Rudy?
Okay, Ray, so let me just okay.
Best game that Rudy played for a second time in a row after completing it for the first time.
Let me just cue up the sound effects.
A long spectre, a world made of bugs, a nail for a sword. In a dark, abandoned, and mysterious subterranean world, you alone must explore a destroyed kingdom. Improve your combat abilities, explore an intricate map, and discover the horrifying secret of your connection to this labyrinthian nightmare. It is
Hollow Knight.
What? How do you?
It's Hollow Knight again.
How did you guess?
Well, I mean, you gave a fairly accurate description of it, basically, because I've heard you say it like 20 minutes ago or something like that. But it's your Hollow Knight thing again. Did you do any prep for this?
No. What is you said right after I finished it the first time? Yeah. I went back and played it through a second time on the Nintendo Switch because I'd actually bought it for that one. I thought, well, I'll give it a go through, and I played it all through and did even better the second time and really liked it. So. It's definitely, and therefore that fits the category of best game that I played for a second time in a row after completing it the first time. I literally finished it on PlayStation 4 and then went into it on the Switch. And I don't regret it. It was glorious. Loved every second of it.
Okay.
It's pretty
All
doing
right.
my throat in there doing that voice. I'm going to be honest. I have to go gargle.
Yeah,
So I was
no,
going to gargle some water. You think about your next character.
Well, I'm trying to think of games that I've bought on multiple platforms that that I would. I
Sorry.
didn't need to hear that. Yeah. Again, certainly, Zombie Army 4 I've sort of played on multiple platforms just because it's been sort of free on those platforms apart from the monetization. Haven't played Resident Evil 4 enough to really have that warrant a multi-platform award. I play Fortnite on my Switch and on my Xbox.
Well, you just clearly haven't played Hollow Knight yet. And when you do play it for that first time, and so you'll be like, you know what? I understand what Greedy was going on about. God,
That might happen.
God damn, he's a better gamer than me.
Oh no!
Boy, he's the boy. He's the one. He knows what's going on with the games, eh?
Is what you'll say to yourself in a slightly racist accent.
Slightly racist Mexican voice, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where it was from. You said Mexican. I was just doing a voice of someone that sounded wizened and old. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I can't think of anything. There's a few games I've played sort of a few times like that, but nothing I've bought that many times on multiple platforms. Possibly. No, I didn't buy the GTA remastered. I kind of did manage to dodge that slightly. I can't think of anything to go along with that one, so I'm just going to introduce my next category, which kind of leads into it a little bit nicely, to be quite honest, because if I ever play that Hollow Knight game, it'll be for free off a subscription. It won't be risking any money on what sounds like a not particularly brilliant game, to be quite honest. It is the Thank You Game Pass Award for not making me spend real money on this garbage award.
Okay, well, I mean, this is very specific to you, I think, because you've got a real beef with two titles, don't you?
One in particular, I played a little bit of the other one that I'm going to mention here, but the one that I've got a real beef with is Back for Blood, and that's going to win this here with an honourable mention going to the GTA remaster for Gangster Slack. Sorry, no, that was the parody version. It was the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas version, the remaster that they give you away free on Game Pass. They didn't give you the better games on Game Pass, but they gave you that one, and that was enough to make me realise that I probably didn't need to get the entire pack. So, thank you Game Pass for saving me money on that one. But yeah, Back for Blood just really did not grab me in the slightest. It was like playing Left 4 Dead 2, but more complicated and less about just having fun with zombies. Something about cards, and I don't know, but yeah, for whatever reason, just Back for Blood I thought was a real wasted opportunity. I was expecting so much better from that game, but I'm glad that I played it on Game Pass and then uninstalled it probably maybe the next day or something like that.
Fantastic.
Have you got anything that you've managed to avoid spending money on that you got through maybe a subscription service that you think, oh, good job I played it there because it turned out to be rubbish?
Well, that I played...
Possibly Forza Horizon 5.
I guess that is the case. I'll tell you one thing. I did dabble and download on PC the Halo Master Chief Jiggy, and I did that because I did a bit of multiplayer. I'll stream with someone from Any Button Gaming, from Molly Button Gaming, just to help out because they were short for a stream. But also I thought, you know what, I'll download this, and I'm going to play. I think one of that comics one, it might have been Halo ODST, whichever one it is, or I'm gonna play this one and really get into it because I've not really given Halo a chance since Halo 3 on the Xbox 360, and I uninstalled it pretty quickly afterwards because I realised I don't really like Halo games that much, and I enjoyed the stream, but it's 100+ gig, and that's a lot of space on my PC. So bye bye.
It is a lot of space, and I do have the Master Chief collection, and I am intending on playing through them. The first Halo's not too bad, but I'm really struggling to get as invested as other people are. I think Halo's biggest fans are multiplayer fans anyway, which tends not to be where we go for.
I have fond memories of. I remember playing. My friends had an Xbox when I was at uni, or for uni. He had Halo 2. Played 3-4 player on split screen. Had good fun. Enjoyed it. But going back to it, I just don't get it. So
Yeah, and I'm trying to get into Halo Infinite now, which is another one that could possibly go in here. Not that it's bad; it's not a garbage game. It's just hard to really get invested. I'd say it's maybe a better Far Cry game than Far Cry 6, but
apart from spoilers,
yeah.
So and I think, but here's an interesting fact. It's probably this another topic, but do you think it's would I, for example, if I had bought Forza Horizon 5. It's a kind of chicken and the egg. If I bought it, would I put more time into it?
If you had actually spent money, would you feel like you needed to wrestle more value
and therefore
out of it?
Get to the point where other people clearly have and gone, actually, this is a good game because by all intents, people say it's a good game. But then you start thinking yourself, or would I never have tried it because I would never have risked spending the money on it in the first place?
Yeah.
So it's a kind of weird one. I don't know.
I think for me, I would have waited till it was on deep sale and would have spent my own money on it, but I'm still glad I didn't. So,
yeah, I mean, yes, I suppose certainly true of my Final Fantasy VII remake is it got to a point where it was very cheap before I tried it. I'm glad I did. But would I have bounced off it? I mean, it was free, I guess. So, but no,
I think I have to say, as much as I'm enjoying Game Pass, I've had much more of the experience of trying something out that I was going to buy and ending up saving my money. I haven't really, with Game Pass, gone in and found a real gem and said no.
I have, but let's not ruin that for later on.
Origami 1 was good, but that was a game with gold, so I would have had that anyway. Origami 2 I didn't like so much.
Okay, so let's get into our next category. I have a few more for me, but let's do one here. Ready?
Game that Rudy wanted to buy the most for his PlayStation 5, but refused to pay $70 for.
So this is very specific to me, but any listeners,
you buy things in dollars now?
We're an international podcast, I'd say. People recognise the $70 price point and the $50, $60 price point, for games. Right. But for those who aren't aware of it, basically, weirdly enough, $70 is about £58 in the UK, maybe close to the £60.
Maybe £55, £60.
But it's £70 for a PlayStation 5 game here, so we pay even more than in, say, United States. I believe it's more in Canada again, so I'm not going to, for our single Canadian listener, hello. But I've just, I got my PlayStation 5. It's a lovely big vagina of a box. But I really want to play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I loved the PlayStation 4 remake, reboot, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Really, really good time. It looks amazing. It really is one of those games that's going to test the power of the PS5. It's one of the things that sold me on the PS5. But now I look at it when it came out earlier this year and I was just like, or last year, I was like, I really want to play that game. But it's £70. And I don't think Sony deserves that £70. It's an unwarranted price hike. So I've got this console, which I, really should have thought more about. But when I got it, it didn't seem to be that much of a pain point for me. Like, they're putting the price up, but I'm sure that won't last long. I'm sure it'll go quite cheap. I just didn't know. When I actually come to spending a lot of money, I was just like, no, I don't want to. And so I still haven't. And I know it has been dropping in price a little bit. So I'm sure at some point I will. But I've got, an honourable mention to Returnal, which I also wanted to, I would have probably dipped into. I would have taken a risk. Again, not my normal type of game. Probably too difficult for a noob like me. But I would have given it a go. But again, I'm not going to risk it for 70.
Not for that amount of money.
And it leads to the question coming up, which is that Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, the sequel.
Forbidden West, yeah.
I very much enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn. I would love to see what they've done with the upgraded visuals, etc. I know it's also on PS4. But that'll be 70 quid when it comes out. I don't know if I am going to spend 70. It angers me, but I really want to play it. And I don't want people to ruin the story. I really do. I would have PS4 era pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know it's going to be a good game. But
yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I was impressed with Horizon. I wish I'd played it more, but I did still like the story they were trying to tell. My counterpart for this isn't exactly the same, but it is more about spending extra money for these the next gen or current gen versions, and it's the game that I would love to play on the current gen, don't want to pay the extra money for getting it on the current gen version, but also don't want to play the last gen version either. So I'm just ending up not playing it. And that is the Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remake, remaster, whatever we're calling that one there, because I don't want to pay the extra money for the next gen version, but I don't want to play the old gen version either. So I'm kind of stuck in some sort of tight-fisted limbo. Very
much so. I mean, it affected me things like, although it wasn't as expensive, Deathloop was that little bit more expensive on PlayStation 5. It was PlayStation 5 exclusive. So I was just like, it was cheaper on PC, but I was like, well, I'd like to play it on PS5. It's where I, play it on it's PS5 is arguably probably as powerful and more powerful than my PC. I play on a bigger TV. But I was just like, but it's so much more expensive than it is on PC. So,
and it's so great when a developer goes in for smart delivery on the Xbox, because then you get both versions in one. But not every developer goes that. Activision, and you have to pay extra through for some of those. But it's frustrating.
Well, okay, so that's my one. Have you got some more categories?
Yeah, absolutely. So another category. Most disappointing game that everybody warned me was going to be terrible, but I've got it anyway.
Oh, I know what this is going to be.
Yes, it's got to be that Far Cry 3 remake. No, it's not a Far Cry 3 remake. It's Far Cry 6.
You just described every Far Cry game there.
Yeah. Well, I still think Far Cry 5 was a bit different. It messed with the formula a little bit, and then they just went straight back to it with 6.
I would disagree somewhat. I thought that Far Cry 5 was a Control C, Control V of Far Cry 4, which of itself was a slightly prettier Far Cry 3.
Yeah, in some aspects, yeah, absolutely. I think just the setting was different enough that I kind of got into it a little bit more than these kind of weird mystical mountains and that sort of thing. It was a little bit more grounded in real, although you did have the weird druggy stuff in the water that made it feel very much like that. But yeah, I see your point. I just got into it more than complete cookie cutter Far Cry 6, which I think was even more of that. But yeah, wouldn't disagree that Far Cry 5 still followed that pattern.
No, fair dues.
And anything you want to say about this one? Have you got a game that was that you got anyway, despite everyone telling you it was going to be rubbish, and hey presto, it was rubbish?
Trying to think. Games that people told me were going to be... I tell you what, one thing I did... I guess I wouldn't say it's rubbish. I, on the Quest, bought the first chapter of Star Wars Vader Immortal VR game, which you can get for PlayStation VR, you can get for whatever. And I bought it, and everyone, and all reviews were kind of like, yeah, this game's great. It's incredibly short for the price. And I was like, I think it was $7.99 or something for the first chapter, and there's 3 chapters. And I was just like, well, it's just like, I know the VR experiences are short. I can take spending £80 for like, a kind of, a couple of hours or something. I was like, or an hour and a half or maybe something like that. Whoa, it's like 35, 40 minutes. It's over. And I was just like, what was there was really good. But this was a demo, and there's 2 more parts to it. So to get the lot is going to be about £24, which will amount to probably 3 hours of content. And I'm not saying that length is a determiner of quality of being, but literally I knew going into it that I would walk. Everyone said you'll get to the end of it and you'll be disappointed because it's just over. And you spend that time with it. As good as it is, it's not really that replayable. And that's pretty accurate.
It's a pretty accurate description. All right, okay. What's our next category?
Well, I'm probably going to some of the sort of categories we've got to do together. We've got a few common here. So let's start moving towards some of our other ones that we've got lined up. Let's talk about
Blue Balls Award for the best game in our backlog that we keep meaning to start, but don't.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and I think I've mentioned this enough time in the podcast for you to know what I'm going to be talking about here. For me, that one in my backlog is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Again, everyone tells me it's great. You tell me it's great. I just don't want to agree with you about anything, to be honest. That's why I've not played it. But
that is a fair reason. It's very much the reason why I haven't played lots of games that you've recommended to me.
Absolutely. Fine. And same with Disco Elysium, which I've only bought fairly recently, but it is one that literally everyone has said is amazing, and I bought it, so I might have the motivation to start it. I just messed up with the whole motivation thing.
That's incredible to me because Disco Elysium is gaming like royalty. You know, it's like The Godfather. You know, part 2 of the gaming world. Yeah, not just The Godfather. The Godfather, you know, part 2.
Creme de la Godfather.
Yeah, it's just like, Donnie, I know it was you, but
I know it wasn't you that didn't play my game.
I know you never played Hollow Knight, you schmuck. You piece of fucking shit.
no.
I hope you're going to enjoy this pizza because it's going to be your last.
Yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy this Hollow Knight, this Metroidvania, because it's going to be your last. Blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, Disco Elysium is a hard one to me. Hellblade, I understand it's pretty heavy going, but Disco Elysium is. Well, I'm interested to see how it, how it works on console and how it plays because I played it on PC with a mouse and keyboard. But
well, I gather the director's cut is fully voice-overed?
Yes, it is. Yes, I haven't gone back to it to try it. I played it pre-director's cut, but the voice acting that is there, which is kind of like not all the dialogue, is really good. So, it's enough to hook it through. It's actually one of those games, though, that I enjoyed so much the first time I played it, and because you choose a lot of your own story, I kind of savoured the fact that I got what I got out of it and got the ending and the character building that I got out of it. To play it again, I don't know whether I just do the same choices again, which means I'm playing it exactly the same, or whether I try different ones, but they wouldn't be true to how I wanted to react to each scenario. Because there's so many options that you can go, and you do get a lot of variation in the experience and the atmosphere and the endings, depending on the way that you play, which is cool. But I really liked what I got out of it. I don't want to go through it and then sort of see the joins. Like, oh yeah, that decision does that. That decision does that. I kind of like the idea of I played it and I got what I got at the end of it. But hey, gosh, in terms of games that I've got in the backlog that I keep meaning to start, so many. The one this year that I got started for 5 minutes and then so I've got to go back to is Death's Door on PC. Really cool.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that.
Great game from what I played of it. No, I don't even know why I bounced off it. There was no real reason for it. That's that one. Of the actual backloggery, ones that I've got. Oh, there's just so many, to be honest, that I'm never going to get around to playing. But every year I start and say, this is the year that I'm going to play Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I'm going to play that bad boy. I'm going to play like the best game ever made, and I'm going to properly just really sink my teeth into it. And I never will, but
never
I
will now. I thought there was a certain Hideo Kojima one that might come up here.
Yes, there is. I got for Christmas a year before, Death Stranding.
Ah, yes.
And then this
I have
previous year,
no motivation to play that. Even if someone gave it to me for free, I don't think I'd want to play it.
In a sale, I bought the Director's Cut PS5 upgrade. So I was like, I'm definitely going to get to it now. I'm never going to play this game because I don't really want to, but I do want to. I want to see the mad story and the weird kind of acting and all the kind of eccentricities, but I also don't want to walk everywhere for 40 hours. I don't like walking in real life. I'm sure as hell not going to do it, balancing a heavy bag, But don't say, next category, hit me, who we got.
Next category, I did have one lined up for this. The most rewarding platinum because Dante wants to brag about actually platinuming something award.
Wow, okay, so you feel like you want to talk about this. I mean, I've got like over 30 platinums. I've done loads of 100%. But anyway, you go for it.
Well, I've doubled the amount of platinums that I've got in my gaming history by platinuming the Control Ultimate Edition, even though on Xbox they don't have platinums. They just have the fact that you've done all the achievements. But still, Control Ultimate Edition, fully achievemented by Mr. Dante Rodriguez. Thank you.
Oh, well done. Oh, was it your first time?
No, that's my second platinum. Or do you mean this first time through the game, or second?
No, first time getting a. Yeah, I was going to say, is it your first platinum? Is it your? Did you break it?
I've doubled it because I've only ever had one in the past, and that was Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Okay, yeah, that's understandably probably quite an easy one to get.
It's quite short, so yeah, that's how I managed it.
Yeah,
and the achievements are all pretty funny. I mean, there's one for killing one of the big blood dragons with a with an arrowhead, and it's called Just the Tip. So.
Wow, and it's mature as well. Excellent.
Very mature, yeah, absolutely. Just like we expect Ubisoft to not be kind of puerile and horrible.
Completely. Gosh, you know what? In a complete opposite, I have not 100%ed anything this year.
What? I thought that was your thing.
It was, and this year I don't know what it's been. I just haven't been able to kind of get to the 100% mark on anything. I contemplated a particular game about some kind of empty paladin or Hollow Knight, and I looked through it and I thought I had a chance getting the 100% when I first looked at it, because I thought that I didn't have to do the well, it's not an expansion, but there's basically a boss rush mode that you can go to. But it turns out, you have to do the boss rush mode. You basically have to deal with the bosses again, one after another, and not die, and they're even harder. And I thought, I'm not good enough to do this. So I was quite disappointed, because I thought I could get. If it was a case of me just grinding away, I would have done it. But it was down to skill, and I don't have the skill. And I watched like a few YouTube videos of people doing it, and it's just like, and these are the kind of people that do like tutorials, and they struggle sometimes. And I was just like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm out. So I haven't got one. So well done. You've got bragging rights this year. You got one. I got none.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that in the slightest.
No, I know. It's hey, what can I say? I'm a loser, baby. But hey, shall we go into it's getting late into the podcast. Shall we?
I think we need to start wrapping up. There's maybe three big ones for the end, isn't there?
So let's go with our next one. Okay, ready?
Most anticipated game of 2022.
I've got one. You go for it though. I feel these will be different, very different.
Yeah. I mean, some of these, I'm wondering if I actually mean this one, and I've put on my list Elden Ring, because I saw that demo of it and it looked phenomenal. I'm just worried that the difficulty will be Sekiro level, and I'll just bounce off it.
I've been burnt. I got burnt with Sekiro. I was just like, I did Bloodborne. I could do this. And as we know from your Ditty, you're no Sekiro fan. I'm going to take a step back on it and go, you know what? I'm going to see what people say about difficulty and stuff like that. Because an even larger open world title seems like it's painful. However, I do believe it might not be for me, but I believe it'll be a good game. It's not I can accept that. Like, my inability doesn't mean that it's a waste of time.
The other one I've got on my list is Redfall, which seems like it's like a vampire version of the kind of the squad shooter. So you'd say, not like Back 4 Blood, hopefully with better voice acting than Back 4 Blood and better story, because it's done by Arcane, and kind of vampires rather than zombies. And again, I quite like that sort of game. I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's all crap. All those games are rubbish because this year is going to be dominated by one game that no one even knows if it's coming out this year, but it's been due out for the last 2 years, and that's Silk Song. The follow-up to Hollow Knight. Oh boy, if that releases, it's going to be like, I'm
so excited.
It's making my giblets tingle just thinking about it. Like, I didn't even know they could tingle this way, but that ladybug is making them tingle. Not in the sexual way, to be quite clear to listeners. Just in a kind of like, this is going to be...
I wouldn't believe that, to be honest.
It's slightly sexual, but it's going to blow me away. And it didn't come out last year. There'd been no news on it for over a year. It probably will never come out, but I don't care. That's it. There's no other game this year that's going to release that's going to touch it. Especially with the choices.
I'll be completely pre-ordering that. Definitely.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. It's about time you showed some taste. Okay, I'll go to the next category. Ready?
All right.
Okay, this is a really important one, so we want to spend some time on this. Okay.
Best game that Rudy played for a third time in a row after completing it for the first and second time.
Oh my God! Not Hollow Knight again!
A long spectre, a world made of bugs, a nail for a sword. In a dark, abandoned and mysterious subterranean world, you alone must explore a destroyed kingdom.
Has anyone got a hammer I can beat myself to death with?
Improve your combat abilities, explore an intricate map, and discover the horrifying secret of your connection to this labyrinthian nightmare. It is...
Can you guess what it is yet?
It is Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight.
God, it's really doing my throat in, actually. But I've got it 4 more times in the script, so I better drink some more water.
Rudy's got a hollow head. Can't play more than one game a year.
I think that's outrageous. Yes, I did start a third playthrough on the Game Pass, but that's not the point. I just downloaded it to see how my Xbox Series S played it, and then I started playing it again. I got really into it. It's really, really good. You should play it. It's really good. I definitely got this way, but I think you should definitely play it. But yeah.
Hey, you tell me you've got through halfway through a Mass Effect game, and I'll play it.
I've got halfway through a Mass Effect game.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
All right.
But do you want me to do another one? I'll give you a hint.
Do another one.
A long spectre. Oh, no, sorry. I won't do that. Couldn't resist. Okay. This one is, there's 2 more categories left to go. And this one is,
yes.
Wow, there is a battle for this, but should we do it?
I feel like this is one we might agree on if we can choose one.
Well, let's see. Ready?
I'm ready.
Scumbag of the year.
Oh, this has got some serious competition for this one this year, because it has been. I was going to nearly name this the most depressing news story of the year, because there's been so many of them, but I thought I'd just kind of aim at the scumbags themselves.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go through each one because I think they need no explanation, but we have Yves Guillemot of Ubisoft.
Yes,
we have
the Frenchman,
Bobby Kotick.
Yes, absolutely.
Activision Blizzard
on this list.
Andrew Robot Boy Wilson. For no other reason, just in the fact that he feels like he should be on this list.
He feels like that they all belong together in this own little kind of...
Yeah. And then, I can't pronounce the names, but the guys at Square Enix who have decided that NFTs are the way to go on everything.
They're the future.
Yeah, they are the future, and some players, want to play games for the enjoyment of it, but most people should be playing it to earn stuff, which is just
to mine crypto.
And it makes me worry a lot that last time, because I'm sat here like a lot of other weebs waiting for the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 to come along, and I'm thinking, balls.
What are they going to fill that with?
But to be honest, I'm going to exclude Square Enix just because I dislike... I'm not saying exclude them, but I think they deserve the title. I hate the NFT stuff. I think it's bullshit. But at the end of the day, I think possibly that if people don't buy it, they'll change their tune. However, for you especially and Bobby, these absolute pieces of like human poo-poo are not going anywhere.
Something to be said about the year when you look at a list that's got Andrew Wilson on it, and he doesn't seem like the biggest scumbag on there based on the year's things. So I think it is between those two, isn't it? It
is. And you know what? I don't think I can choose.
No, I was going to maybe go inching slightly towards Bobby, but they are really just as bad as each other.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby's got the most money out of the two and has, very demonstrably proven that he was aware of abuse in the company. So I think he got that right. I think in a black and white sense that there is an audit trail that tells that he knew about stuff that was going on. Whereas is getting away with it, even though by playing dumb, even though it's really obvious that he must have known about it all. It's that kind of like, Bobby might get forced out, still with billions of dollars in his bank account. So, not exactly.
Of course, but, no one's going to take.
But I don't think he's ever going to get kicked out because, he just goes, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on. Whereas there's fairly demonstrable proof that Bobby actually engaged in the horrible behavior and kind of bullied all sorts of people. So, I think slightly takes the cake there. Well done, Bobby.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps up our TBAG specials for this year.
Yes.
I hope everyone listens.
Thank you, Jambaggers, for staying with us to the end and getting our hot takes on what's been good, what's been bad, and what's been really terrible this year. Bobby?
Yeah. So, don't say, would you like to do your amazing socials?
If you want to talk to the Jambags team on the socials, please find us on Twitter. You can find at Jambags_UK. You'll find You'll find Rudy's account, and you'll find at Dante RDRGZ JB, which is the Dante account, where you can interact with us on the socials. You can also find us on Instagram at Jambags_UK. There is occasionally pictures of Dante's gaming crushes and nice scenery from Don't think I've missed anything out. Anything else people need to know about how to get a hold of us, really?
Well, you can listen to our wonderful podcast in many different ways, should you wish to. You can listen to it on Spotify, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, or any good app on your phone that has an RSS feed. Just search for Jambags. You'll find us pretty quickly. We are also on YouTube, so we put an audio version of this onto the YouTubes, where you get a nice little background overlay with some, sound bars and stuff on there, if that's how you want to check it. And on all those platforms, if there's a way to interact with us, if you can drop us a like, a subscribe, a comment, a review, whatever. Nice. Yeah, reviews are great, particularly on Apple. They really help drive it up there. Thanks to everyone that has already reviewed it. It's much appreciated. And yeah,
it really is.
Let's get to it. So that let's roll on to a new year, Dante. New year, new us. And by that, I mean exactly the same as last year for us.
Exactly the same format as last time. Yeah. Back to silly news stories, random kind of silly voiced guests that may or may not be us putting on silly voices, and doing our best to make you laugh throughout the year on various bits of gaming news, which are too horrible to talk about in reality. So we make up some fantasies that are way worse and funnier, hopefully.
Amazing. Well, that's it for the start of 2022.
Absolutely right. And if you ever feel like playing a game called Hollow Knight, I'll come round and smash you in the Jambags.
Oh, man. Dante, that was a pretty good TBAG Award special, I think. I really liked it. We got through quite a lot. There was a lot of talking. That's what podcasts are about.
We teabagged all over quite a lot of the highs and lows of the previous year,
I agree. But you know what? Next year's going to be better. And the only way we can be better on next year's TBAG Awards is to start prepping now. So
that's a good
I've
point.
already been hitting some more games hard this year. Ooh. None of this kind of like, have I got enough to talk about? I'm going right into it. And I think I've already got one written up ready. So, okay.
All right. Okay. I'm listening.
This is great. Ready?
A long spectre. A world made of bugs. A nail for a sword. In a dark, abandoned, and mysterious subterranean world, you alone must explore a destroyed kingdom. Improve your combat abilities. Explore an intricate map and discover the horrifying secret of your connection to